Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dave Kaufman coming to you live from my home in Sarasota. And I am here to talk to you about change. Um, 2020 has brought about a lot of change. 2020 has brought about a lot of questions. What shall we do? How shall we change? And so I'm going to talk about change or chance. And so if here's one thing that I have learned over the past several years, but especially in 2020, that if you don't change, you will. If you don't change, you will. Okay. If you don't change, you're going to actually go away from what you were trying to do in the first place, because there is something called the natural curve of a business, a natural curve of a life. How many of you know that if you are left alone, if you are without any input, without any positive reinforcement, without any training, it's hard to climb, it's hard to become better, it's hard to be successful. And the natural curve is to, if you go up, it actually comes down. So I've been trying to upload a certain image on here. Right now, I'll put the this logo up here, but this is not the image. I'm having an issue trying to upload another image. I think I can share the screen though, but I wanted to start coming on here, and let me just make sure that you guys can hear me okay. If you guys can hear me, just put it in the comments that you can hear me. Say, I hear you loud and clear, or give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you are there. I see we have 8 eyeballs, 1 thumbs up. So just type in where you're listening from. And if you are watching live, let's give me a number 5. If you're watching the replay, give me a number 4. All right. If you're watching live right now, and it's live, give me Hank J, thank you for the clarity. I appreciate clear. Give me a 5 if you're watching live, and a 4 if you are a replay viewer. That way I can kind of see who all watches live versus the replays. So anyway, change or chance. It's only one letter. It's only one action away. Either you change or you don't. If you don't change, you're leaving it up to chance. Thank you, Hank J. I appreciate you. So either you're changing, and what I'm about to show you, if I can figure out how to upload it here, Maynard Miller 4. You're watching it live. So 4 live is 5, 4 is replay. All right. Wilmer Martin, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. Maynard, thanks for joining us. And so I'm going to see if I can share the screen and get it up there so I can show you exactly what I built this thing on a flight, because I was thinking about it. I learned something from my good friend Luke Kipfer. It's called the sigmoid curve. All right. So Galen, thanks for watching us. I appreciate it. And let me share the screen real quick and see if I can get the graphic that I created up on the screen. Hang on. Okay. All right. Let me just check and make sure that you guys can see this. Like I said, I wasn't able to load this thing up into StreamYard. I just want to make sure that you guys are able to see what I have up on the screen now. Can you see anything on the screen? Wow, I don't know why it wouldn't allow me to upload it, but I'm seeing it, but I don't think you guys are. Chrome tab. Well, this is kind of embarrassing, just a little bit. Okay, stop share. Yeah, I don't know how to get this thing up here. The other image loaded up fine. I don't know why it's not allowing me to upload the image that I created. Saved it on the laptop. Let's get out of there. Sorry, guys. Hang with me. I apologize. Something needs to change. That's right. It's exactly right. Change your chance. I was trying to load it up and it got to 2 o'clock and I said, I don't want to be late for my show. So I figured I saw a share screen. There's got to be a way. Hang on just a second. Whoa. That was way too many of me right there. Did y'all see that? Anyway, share screen. Share screen. Don't show these tips again. Share screen. Application window. Chrome tab. All right, if somebody can just comment on it and see if you guys can see a different graphic. Has some blue squiggly lines and a red arrow. Can you guys see that? I can't. I think we got it. Yeah, okay. I see it now on Facebook on my phone. So yeah, you can see this. So this is what I want to talk to you about. This is what I call the sigmoid curve, and I apologize for it taking so long to get there. It's still not as cleaned up as what I wanted it to be, but this is what we call the sigmoid curve. Okay, so I want to draw your attention down here. You can probably see the little screen thing here, the mouse. Down at the very bottom is how a business starts. It's an entrepreneur with an idea. He has an entrepreneurial idea, and it takes a little bit before the business starts going up. In fact, a lot of times it actually dips down a little bit, and then it goes up. Okay, so that's called the entrepreneurial stage. It's where you're creating a business. And then it starts, gaining momentum, and it comes into the emerging stage. Okay, so from here to here, it is called the emerging stage. Okay, this is what gets business owners really excited. The business is really doing well. It's like, wow, things are going. You're getting new contracts. You're just really doing you're having fun. Okay, and then about in here, and this can be, there's not a set amount of years. This could all happen. This whole thing, this curve, even the eroding stage, could happen within a year. It could happen within 20 years. Okay, so there's no determination that says, within a year you need to be here, and within 2 years you need to be here. It's just the life cycle of a business. This whole curve is the life cycle of a business. Okay, so what happens most of the time, a business owner in this section right here, in the emerging section, feels really good about the business, and things are happening. He's excited. He or she is excited, and it comes up here. And then a smart business owner will know that a business never lasts forever. Like, the products that you're selling right now may not be the products that you're selling 5 years from now, 20 years from now, or even 6 months from now. The way you do business may not be the way you're going to do business, 5 years from now, 10 years, 6 months, whatever. So we know change is coming. We know it's coming. And so what a smart entrepreneur does is starts another, by the way, this whole thing is called the sigmoid curve. You start another sigmoid somewhere here before you get to the established business. Now, what is an established business? An established business is when the business owner says, takes a deep breath and says, it's been good. I've kind of arrived. I've finally gotten to the place to where things aren't crazy. We're established. We don't need to change anymore, but they're established. And what he or she may not know is established is basically headed towards erosion of a business. Okay, so the life cycle of a business is start, climb, top, fall, and fail. All right, so right in here somewhere, while you have the momentum, while things are going great and you're still excited about the business, you need to start another sigmoid. Okay, I didn't say start another business. I said start another sigmoid. Okay, so if this is vet school, then this over here should not be astronaut school. So this, you want it to be a complement to what you're already doing, an addition, something better, new and improved, something that goes along. So if you're in the furniture business, you might want to do outdoor furniture along with your furniture business, or you might want to start doing cabinetry, or you might want to do something along the line. In fact, how many of you remember Nokia? Okay, Nokia phones. Nokia phones is they're basically, I don't think they're in business much anymore. They might have a little bit, but did you know back in the 1800s, Nokia started as a lumber company, So they started down here in Finland as a lumber company. And they did very well as a lumber company. And then they started becoming a paper company, because paper comes from lumber. And then they got into silk, and they reinvented themselves. They changed, and that's how they became the company that we know of them as hundreds of years later, as a technology company. I mean, everyone had a Nokia flip phone at one point. And when the smartphone comes out, they said, this is just a fad. We're not going to get involved in it because we have computers. Nobody wants a computer on their phone. They just simply want a phone. And that was the death of them for not doing another sigmoid. They did a sigmoid like from 1800 all the way up till Nokia went out of business, but they failed to do a sigmoid. Okay, so for me, this was my maid service. I started my maid service, and about right in here, I started getting asked to start coaching other people. I started getting asked to speak in front of other people. And so then I started my company called Empowering Small Business, and used the momentum of my original company to start another company. And guess what? The momentum helped carry my other business, my original business, even higher. Okay, so Empowering Small Business, my coaching company, and then this would be the speaking company. So a sigmoid curve is so important, because otherwise you just ride all the way to the top and then you have to come back down. You have to reinvent yourself. And a lot of you business owners do this, but you don't even know that you're doing this. And it helps to kind of actually see what you're doing. It actually helps to see what you're doing, to know how to do it, and to know when to do it. Don't wait until you get up in here into the established business, because your momentum is starting to go down. You want to do it while the momentum is still up, and use that momentum to launch, or credibility to launch, the new sigmoid. Okay, now when you start this company, you're going to have people, family, friends say, "You're crazy. Why would you start another business? Why would you start going away from what has brought you to this point?" Okay, I had that happen to me. I had some family says, "Dave, you're making a mistake by going away from your original business, which was the maid service that we still own, and it's doing quite well." Okay, but if I wouldn't have, the maid service would have done this, and I couldn't have stopped it, because it was already in the established business part. And so I used that sigmoid, the credibility that I had as a business owner, to start a business coaching firm. And it was chaos. It was in this section right here. It was chaos to manage both business. Okay. And so, but what happened, this started going up, and then this over here started catching up with it. And now we're both companies is actually growing pretty impressively. Okay, so right in here is when you need to start a new sigmoid. When you don't feel like you should start a new sigmoid, that's when you need to do it. If you think, "Man, I should have started this," it's too late. You're already on the eroding path. Okay. So this in here is what we call moments of stability. This is the exciting part of entrepreneurship, is when both companies or both lines are working really well. Okay, so you just keep adding sigmoid after sigmoid. So I want to tell you a story about my dad. Now, my dad passed away almost August will be 3 years ago, and he invented a product called Hydrotect, and it was designed to spray on hay bales to shed water to protect the hay. And so here's how it is. It's an interesting story of how he invented it. So he had diverticulitis, and he would drink a cup of Metamucil every day. And so when he would mix his drink, and one morning or night he forgot to rinse out his glass. So he had a glass with Metamucil, he drank it, and then he forgot to rinse it out. The next time he wanted to use that cup, he saw that there was something inside, so he put it under the faucet, rinsed it around, and it didn't come off. And he stuck his finger in, and he tried to feel it, and it was like a gel, like it gelled up. And he tried to scrape it off with his fingernail, but he realized he couldn't scrape it off. In other words, the Metamucil had dried to the glass, And when it got wet, it expanded. And so he gets a knife, a kitchen knife, and tries to peel it and couldn't get it off. Realized that he wasted or ruined a good glass. And then it hit him. He said, why don't I just spray this stuff on hay bales? And, the big round hay bales, as they stack them up, and have a long tube of round hay bales, because we were big hay farmers back in the day. And so he figured out a formula that wouldn't hurt the horses or the cattle or, the livestock. And we started testing it. And before that, we would have about 2.5 to 3 feet of spoilage over the winter of storing the hay outside. And with this product, we had as much or as little as 2 inches of spoilage. And so we knew we were onto something, and it was a really exciting time. And so the entrepreneur, Hydrotech, and then we actually got it approved at some universities. We got some investors, and we had a facility, and we had dealers all over, and we had a company in Missouri was making the spray rigs for us that would mount on trucks and everything. And so we started emerging, and we started really growing the company, and it was going well. Things were going well. But right around that time, the John Deere net wrap was invented. Okay, so instead of twine on these round bales, they used net wrap. So it compacted the bales a lot more, which made so that it would shed water a lot more, and saved a lot of that spoilage. And here's the deal. The farmers were thinking, okay, so with Hydrotech, with my dad's product, they have to do an extra pass. Like they have to mix the mixture with water. They had to hook up to the sprayer and then go spray the bales. With the net wrap, it was simply just one pass. The farmer was done. Okay. And so it killed the whole Hydrotech invention. We were about 2 years into it, and it just killed it. And obviously the business failed. So I was showing this to one of my clients. And by the way, this is the first time I'm presenting it to the public. And he said, my client asked me, he said, well, what would a sigmoid have been that my dad could have used to save the company? And I've never thought about it before, but we could have made it so that the baler actually applies the spray. It could be done. The baler could provide or apply the spray, and it would still be a one-pass thing. So you'd have a tank on the front of the tractor, have a hose, and as you're rolling it, just spray this stuff in there, and it would apply itself. And that, I think, because I know that we had less spoilage than the net wrap by far, consistently. So there was just an idea of how quickly a business can go through this curve because of somebody else inventing a better idea. So taxis for years was in this stage right here. For years, we're in this emerging stage. Okay. Then all of a sudden, Uber comes along, the invention of Uber, and it made the taxi business go into a free fall. Okay. So it's sometimes it's out of your control as to how often or how quickly the curve starts. Okay. Sometimes it's years. Okay. Yeah, Airbnbs. Okay. So hotels for years enjoyed the emerging stage of a business, but then Airbnb comes along, and now they're competing with another sigmoid. Okay, so those are two separate things. But what could hotels do? Hotels could actually start doing Airbnb style reservations where you can do everything, and they are. So, change in your business will keep you relevant to where you want to go. Now, why do I say that? Because this line right here, the red line, is what I call the mission, the vision, and the purpose. Okay. Now, notice the title of my talk was, if you don't change, you will. Something like that. If you don't change, you will change. You'll actually go away from your mission, vision, and purpose. Okay. That's why it's so important to start another sigmoid. And notice this, you're actually really close to your mission, vision, and purpose. And here's the thing, be flexible on what you do, but be steadfast on why you do it. So be flexible on what you do, but be steadfast on why you do it. So that's why you need the guiding principles of mission, vision, and purpose, core values, whatever you want to call it. I call it the mission, vision, purpose. And so if you don't change, you will change. You will go away from your mission, your vision, and your purpose. Okay. So to me, that this is such an important model to think about, and a good business owner will look ahead and say, my business will not last forever the way it is right now. Okay, there will be that established feeling, the beginning of erosion, the part of it leveling out where you're not growing, and it just happens. That's the way it is. Marriage is like this. Okay, this would be dating. This would be marriage, and then you have your years that you're loving it. But if you don't start doing something new, if you don't start bringing new life into a marriage, eventually it will erode. Churches, this is so applicable to churches. Okay, so I might get myself in trouble here, but I'm going to talk about King James only. Okay, so I know that's a big issue, and I read the King James version of the Bible. It's not the only one that I use. But I think it's important to read different versions, okay? King James Version, there's a verse in the Bible that says, let your conversations be, and then it says something else, forget what it says. But that word conversation, if I would ask a teenager today, what does the word conversation mean? And they would say, it means me and you talking. But in the original version of that word, in the King James Version, conversation means about your daily walk, the way you conduct your life. And so when a teenager today reads the King James Version and he sees that word conversations, he or she could just basically mean that, or think it means that, let your words be. And it's important, words are important, but that's not what that verse means. And so the ESV comes along, and that's the new sigmoid, and it actually brings us closer because it says, let your walk of life be certain ways. And if you go back to the King James Version and do a word study on that conversation, it doesn't mean words, it means walk. And so that's why it's so important to change, or you will change. Conversation, we're going to start thinking that it means words, and we're going away from the original meaning of that word. Okay, so that's just an example that I heard Luke teach on, and this is something that Luke and I are going to be developing even more and making it more applicable to businesses. And so this is a really rough draft of the sigmoid curve. This is the Dave Kaufman sigmoid draft. But you have to, in order to stay relevant, you have to change. And I think that's so interesting. And, I coined a phrase the other day when I was on the plane, something about ironically, or traditionally, isn't it ironic how traditionally change always happens? Okay. It's one constant thing. Change will always happen. And if we fail to change with change, and 2020 was a good example of change. And some companies did a sigmoid. I know, like one company that I work with once in a while, Berlin Gardens out of Holmes County. They're a outdoor furniture company manufacturer. They pivoted and started building face masks because some of the products that they use was the same products that they used to make furniture, was the same material that they need to use face masks. And so they change so that they don't change. Okay. And now they're back to making furniture, and they're branching out into new things. So great companies always reinvent, and they think, this will not last forever. What can we do to make this even longer, and to reinvent ourselves? And so Nokia started out as a wood company, lumber company, and ended up as one of the world's leading cell phone manufacturers. And it's because they use this model, and they step. They've changed, but they held true to their mission, vision, and purpose, or core values. All right, so that is the sigmoid curve. And this is my version of teaching it. So I believe that the moments of stability right here, and also right here, are going to continually get shorter and shorter because of technology, and the pace of society is moving so much faster. Inventions create other inventions, and after a while, we're going to have shorter and shorter moments of stability. You're going to see companies rise and fall a lot faster than what they did even 20 years ago, because of how fast technology is causing things to change. So if you want to have moments of stability, you have to implement what we call the sigmoid curve. All right. Sorry about the confusion on the downloads. Let me see if I can get out of here again and go back to stop the share. Stop screen. There I am. Perfect. And let me see if there's any comments. Richard says, good words. Maynard says, I see it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And God bless you. And here's the deal. Change, or you will change. Change, or you will change. Change, or you'll leave it to chance. And chance usually doesn't work out. So you have to learn how to adapt and pivot and attack. Pivot and pounce. You know, I got, let me see if I can pull this up before. I showed this to you at one point. Maybe I don't have it queued up on the screen. No, I don't. I thought I did, but it's something else. But the 4 Ps of surviving, or of thriving business during a downturn. You have to pivot, pounce, push, and what is it? I forget what it's called. My 4 Ps. Let me see if I can find it real quick on my screen. Dun, dun, dun. Protect, pivot, pounce, and push. Okay, that's called change. Protect, pivot, pounce, and push. So that is what you have to do in order to effectively stay relevant. Is you have to continually change in order to stay relevant to your mission, your vision, and your purpose. Thank you. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon, and hope it's not. I got you, Maynard. Take care. Bye-bye.